Hello everyone, it's Alpaka Takes, and today I'm taking a gander at the brand new game, Grid Autosport. Now this is the third game in the Grid series, and well, it's kind of a remake of the first one. Well, the second one came out and it wasn't quite what everyone was wanting. It was okay, but there was nothing special about it, so they've made this one and called it Grid Autosport, and it's a lot like the first one. More like the first one than the second one, that was for sure. But they've also implemented a number of new features which are all quite nice. Graphically, the game, as you can probably see, looks quite nice. 60 frames per second I'm running at the moment, however every so often it does dip down a little. Yeah, it's a racing game, as you can see. One thing is that the crashes aren't as good as previous Grid games. Like if I crash into a wall sideways, I'm not going to turn or anything, it's just going to knock me back into the track like this. This kind of like, oh, my bonnet's falling off. Oh yeah, if you're wondering why I'm in the bonnet view, that is because if I go into the cockpit, I mean it's not so bad in this car, I can see everything perfectly fine, but in other cars, your view is quite obstructed by the car itself, which isn't very good when you want to see where you're going. This one here, I mean, I don't like that, that's for sure. You can't see it in the shadow, but hold on, let's just pull over. Let's just pull over in the light here. Look at that interior! It's awful. I mean, I know you're meant to be focusing on the track, but that interior is awful. I don't know if it's just because the graphic settings I am on is aren't the highest, but ew, that's not nice. And personally, I don't like seeing the back of the car. I like being like at the front of the car, seeing what's happening. Not that camera, never like that one. So I've got this one, and you can see the engine from here. You can look left and right as per all games and back. If you've not noticed, this is actually a track that appeared in the first Grid game, I believe. Although it's slightly changed because that corner was sharper before. So yeah, how does the game play? Well, it perfectly plays fine on a keyboard, however I would recommend using a controller of sorts. Or a steering wheel if you've got one. That would probably be even better, but a controller for optimal experience in my view. I like the steering wheel, but the steering wheel is more expensive than a controller, and also I just find the controller easier. But that's just my personal preference. Other people out there may prefer a wheel. I'm not doing very well at the moment, so yeah, I played 8 hours of this game so far. Pretty good. I've had a combination of multiplayer, gameplay and single player, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed. Oh, spinner! Let's actually quit this race. Actually, before I do, I'll show you the flashback system. So, oh no, I'm going to crash. Hit Y, and you can go back, and it goes back quite a bit. Not like in F1 2013 where your flashback takes you back to the start of the crash and you've got no chance of getting out, because then it doesn't actually allow you to flash back. You can flash back as far as you want. See, this one's actually taking me back further now. And that's a pretty good flashback system. And if I go to replay, it's pretty good, the replay. Whoa, I'm actually driving around on rims. That explains why the car won't turn properly. But yeah, it's just the damage to the car in this game, as with most Grid games, is pretty good. I just wish they'd implement something like that into the F1 games. For some reason they don't. But let's actually quit this, and I'll show you some of the multiplayer. Because yeah, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, it's nothing really new about it. But it is a good game. It's competent with what it does, and it does play well. The last game felt a bit too arcadey. This one, to an extent, is still slightly arcadey, but not so much. And it really does what it does well. As per always, you've got RaceNet for your multiplayer. And, well, let's go straight into it, actually. Not done RaceNet challenges yet, or RaceNet Club, but I have done some multiplayer. The looks things, you can upgrade your car, and on some multiplayer games you can use those upgrades to your advantage. But in this case, I'm just going to be using the standard car, and I'll be finding a server. The matchmaking works pretty well, gets you into a pretty full game most of the times. I mean, look at this, straight into a game. That's one thing I've always hated about all these racing games, is why does it always end up putting you into a race that's in progress? I want to race now. I don't want to be in a race that's... I can't even spectate by the looks of things either. That's kind of odd. But yeah, I can choose between... Well, that's obviously every... not difficulty. Every type of racing. Touring, endurance, open wheel. That's like... well, F1 cars, GP3, etc, etc. Tuner, and street racing. I personally prefer the touring and the open wheel. Oh, good. This race is finished. Excellent. So I can play this one. Yeah, you've got your cars here. This is one thing that I don't really like, is when you switch between the cars, it takes an age for the car model to load to see what it looks like. I mean, actually, let's wait for the Mercedes to load up, and let's switch to the Audi and count how long it takes. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's about 6 seconds it took there to load. I might have been counting a little fast, so let's call it maybe 5 for all intents and purposes. But really, I'd be wanting that to be, like, straight away. I don't want to be waiting to choose the car. I want to see what the car looks like, see its stats, and choose it there and then. I don't want to be waiting. I do like how I can change the livery, which is actually something I've not done yet. So let's just change it to Raven West. I don't know what it looks like, but it appears that this race is probably going to get going soon, so this will be excellent. I can show you some of the online play. Excellent. This is the voting system. You get a choice between votes. You get a choice between maps. I quite like this system. Essentially, when you're in a game, once the race is finished, it goes back into the main lobby for like 30 seconds and, well, a minute. And during the first 30 seconds, it allows you to cast votes. And then for the final 30 seconds or thereabouts, it then lets you select your vehicle. And the brilliant thing is that it's always like, it doesn't depend on whether people ready up or not. Yeah, it's a minute. It's not that long to wait, actually. Maybe, and, well, I say that, you can customize that time to be less. It can be 45 or even 30 seconds, which is pretty good. I do like that. In previous grid games, you've been forced to just live with the time as it is, or have to wait for everyone to ready up, or the majority of people to ready up, which in some cases is annoying, because when you're in a multiplayer game, you can be guaranteed that there will be some trolls out there that will deliberately not ready up, because they think, if I ready up, then they're going to be having fun, but if I don't, then I can be annoying them, and I like to annoy them. Then again, you get that in game as well when you get people crashing into you deliberately, but got a way around that slightly in this game, because when you when you start facing the wrong way or deliberately crash, the car actually goes invisible, which is quite, well, when I say invisible, it becomes passable. You can pass through it, and that's pretty cool. It becomes a ghost in essence, which is quite handy. Another thing is when you cut a corner and gain an advantage, like I don't know, save 3 seconds, it then makes you a ghost and forces you to go slow for a few seconds, which I suppose in some instances is really annoying, depending on how much you cut corner, because you're forced to you can't go very fast at all for, let's say, 5-6 seconds. If you just cut it slightly, slows you down, it's not too bad actually. It kind of gets rid of the, I don't know, the advantage of cutting corners and, well, essentially cheating. So that's quite a good thing. But having said that, I've had an instance where this was actually in single player, but I cut a corner at high speed, and the system instantly slowed me down on the other side. But I'd only slightly cut it, so it only slowed me down for a second, but it was enough to make me stop. Okay, here we are in multiplayer. You're joining me just after the start of the race. I had to kind of cut out that part of the recording because there was like a massive noise, and I didn't want that to be in recording. As you see, I've crashed, but don't worry, because if I hit Y for a flashback, it takes me back to just before the corner, which is pretty, there we go, penalty over white line, slows me down for a second. But yeah, that's quite good that they've got the flashbacks into the multiplayer, because it doesn't really give you an advantage. In fact, it actually, well, it does sort of, because let's say you're heading off, you hit Y straight away, it then puts you back into the corner going at speed. It doesn't just stop you. I mean, look at this. There you go. Look at that. Oh, but I've gone over the white line, so it slows me right down. What about on a track like this? Having bonnet cams is actually a bit disorientating because of the reflection on the bonnet. It kind of makes it look like the bonnet is moving, or the camera's moving. It's odd. But yeah, competitive racing is quite fun. Oh, what? Apparently I gain an advantage. Come on! See what I mean? Oh, there we go. For some reason it slows you down way too much. Okay, let's actually go into... Oh, see, yeah, see what I mean? This is what I was referring to earlier by the car kind of obscures your view quite a bit. And even... Look at that! I can barely see the road! Yeah, I mean... Ugh. Look at the inside of the car once again. It's awful. I don't know if that's just... I don't know. Apparently there's an HD texture pack out there. Oh god. I apologise, Mr. Lagman. Please don't hurt me. Ah! I thought he was going to ram into the back of me there. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem to be anything new. There is the RaceNet challenges, which kind of keeps it interesting. But, really, what this game's got going for it is really good at what it does. It's a really good looking racer. It's, oh no, no. Oh god, yeah, that was definitely a necessary flashback there. Otherwise, oh, come on. You didn't see it there, but I became like a ghost to everyone when I, like, went over the lines. But yeah, it's a really good racer game, and that's what's important. You can get it on Steam. Oh god, I'm kind of not concentrating at the moment because of the fact that I'm recording. But you saw that there. The crash was a bit insignificant as opposed to what it should be. Crashes don't feel legit as such. There are some cases where you're going high speed sideways over gravel, and yeah, that really does feel legit because you end up like digging in and then flipping, and yeah, that happens. But in this case here, where you like smash into a barrier, it just doesn't feel real. I mean, it is semi-realistic after all. It's not completely realistic. It's not a proper sim. Otherwise, well, most of these corners I wouldn't be making, and I'd be flying off every corner, because realistic simulators, car simulator games are incredibly hard to play. You need to be good at them. But this is not bad. I mean, it feels nice. It feels definitely... Oh, I don't want to leave. It feels really good, actually, and I'm actually happy that I got it. I believe it's £29.99 or your regional equivalent on Steam. Word of warning, though, is that when I last saw this earlier on, about an hour ago, I did notice that there were about 8 versions available on Steam for some unknown reason. One said Grid Autosport at the top, the next one said Black Edition, which was the same price. The next one said Grid Autosport Asia, and then the next 5 or 6 all said Grid Autosport. Then there was no like differentiation between them. I've got no idea which one are. In theory, you could click buy now on all 5 of them and end up having 5 different games installed, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. It might just be a Steam bug, of course. There are a lot of sales and a lot of things going on at the moment with Steam. But this is a bit, essentially, Grid Autosport. And it definitely gets my seal of approval. I am a fan of racing games, and this does it well. The next racing game I'm looking forward to from Codemasters is, of course, F1 2014. Can't wait for that! It's going to be brilliant. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.